morning, or depending when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told out of Voice of Radio, so today I'm getting excited about a new promo pack that has gone and been revealed over in Japan. And yes, I do think it is worth getting excited about a new promo pack, and yes, I do think there are some exciting cards in there. It's the usual deal. We've got ourselves a new EX, we've got ourselves a new trainer card, we've got ourselves another new Pokemon, which there's no real reason for it to be in there, but it is, and it's kind of cool. And we got ourselves some alternate art reprints you can get excited about or not. That one's entirely up to you. So starting off then, it's probably best we have a look at Mabosstiff here. And yeah, I do think this is pretty cool. Of course, by now you should know the deal when it comes to these new promo packs in Japan. These EXs, they are exclusive. Now, previously we had Cloth. That EX has not been released anywhere else. As for how they're going to be released over here, they often come as promos. They sometimes get chucked into sets. It's a question we're going to have to answer later on, okay? I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen, that's the best I can do. But for now, we've got this, and this is awesome. So Mabosstiff then, what have we got? Oh, I should mention I did the translations here myself, but I checked with a lovely Anton Boulay just in case. So we've got 260 HP, which is about right for a Stage 1 EX. We've got ourselves 2 colourless energy, and during your opponent's next turn, the defending Pokemon's attacks deal 50 less damage. And I don't really like this, honestly, ladies and gentlemen. I don't really like this very much at all. Because essentially what you've got here is you're doing 30 damage, which isn't very much. It's not single energy, which is annoying. It's stage 1, which is less than ideal. And sure, the defending Pokemon does 50 less damage, and that's kind of high. And yes, you can then go and, do the thing. So you can go and use Radiant Gardevoir here to reduce damage by another 20. And then you can go and use V-Guard Energy to reduce it by another 20. And you can, play this game, essentially, where you're reducing damage by as much as you can and sitting there and chuckling and life is good. Fine. But it's the defending Pokemon. Which means if the defending Pokemon switches out, then the effect goes away. And even if they come straight back into the active, that still totally gets around it. And that's kind of my point here. This is too easily played around. If you ignore that it's a 2 energy attack, and I don't think you should, and if you ignore that it's a stage 1 Pokemon, and I don't think you should, and if you ignore the low damage, and I don't think you should, you still run into problems. So let's ignore this attack entirely and move on to the next one. Because this one's got real potential. Darkness, 2 colourless energy, 100 damage. If any of your bench Pokemon have any damage counters on it, this attack does 120 more damage. Yeah, no, I'm in on this. This is like legit. Most of these promo EXs aren't particularly good. Like, I like Cloth as a Pokemon. Cloth's awesome. I want me a Cloth EX in my collection. I'm going to have one very, very soon. But it's not good. Cloth EX is not a good Pokemon. Mabosstiff might be. Like, legitimately might be. Bearing in mind, of course, that we've got... we've got full evolution lines here, okay? And that's really important. Because what that means is, if I'm playing Mabosstiff EX, I can still use the regular. And the regular one from Scarlet and Violet lets you make your opponent switch their active once per turn. So being able to combine these together is actually really kind of good. I like this, ladies and gentlemen. I genuinely like this. And this is cool, honestly. And, shout out to the lovely Okacheke artwork. How could I not mention that quickly? But my point here is that what you can do is combine these together. You've got a really nice ability, but it's also a very payable attack. Like, a really payable attack. Because Dark Patch is in the game right now. So all you need to do is couple of Dark Patch attach for turn, or attach a couple turns in a row Dark Patch or something along those lines, and you're going to be paying this honestly pretty gosh darned easily. And you're hitting 220, and that's a magic number to KO Pokemon V, and it's going to get most basic EXs. And look, some of your Pokemon are going to be damaged at times throughout the game naturally anyway. If you're really worried, we've got that new stadium that puts damage on when you attach energy to a non-water Pokemon. Or like anything along those lines, yeah? There's a million different stadiums or things along those lines that can do a little bit of self-damage, or you're going to end up being self-damaged anyway, so I really wouldn't worry about it. I've just given you one example, yeah? This is not a part of the attack I'm worried about. It's a stage 1 free energy 220. I'm sorry, that hits enough numbers. I'm giving this 4 Wassies, which honestly is like high for a promo EX. It's way higher than we usually see. And that's kind of awesome, ladies and gentlemen. That's kind of awesome. But it's not the only new card that is coming around in this particular promo pack. So we need to go and have a look at another character, Atticus. Atticus, of course, is one of your Team Star leaders. Are they called leaders? No, they're not called Team Star leaders. Bosses, there we go. The boss of Team Star's Poison Crew. Now, obviously, Atticus loves Poison-type Pokemon. So you know what? We've got Poison coming into play here. You can use this card only if your opponent's active Pokemon is poisoned. Shuffle your hand into your deck, and then draw 7 cards. Awesome. Genuinely awesome. Shuffle Draw 7 is great. Bearing in mind, Shuffle Draw 6, we had Cynthia. Great card, saw a bunch of play. Before that, we had Professor Oak's New Theory. Great card, saw a bunch of play. So you know what, ladies and gentlemen? Yeah. I am absolutely down with this. This is awesome. Oh yeah, I should say, Cynthia and Pont, they were 6 cards. This is 7. Yes, the Pokemon's got to be poisoned, but remember we got Clodsire EX coming, which has an ability that can poison if you've got a stadium in play, which is not a particularly high bar to meet. And then, of course, if you're playing around with poison, don't forget you've got Radiant, Hisuian, Sneasler, which is always a fun one to have a little bit of a play around with. And you know what? If you're playing a poison deck, and I am still very much of the opinion that poison decks could be very, very fun, I gotta say, I think we could be onto something here. I do want to play around with a poison Clodsire deck, I've made that very clear. We've now actually got like a really good, legit draw option for these poison decks, and that makes me kind of happy. And don't forget, also in Triple Beat, we had that new Sableye that did 90 damage for a single energy if your opponent's active Pokemon is poisoned. Don't be sleeping on that one either, ladies and gentlemen. I think this could be a very cool deck moving forward. How good and competitive is it going to be? I don't know. Stop ruining my fun. I like this. I'm giving it between 3 and 4 Wassies. We don't give half Wassies. That would be barbaric. Yeah, I know most of the time it's going to be too awkward, but any deck where you're poisoning, this is a legit, and it's not a good card. In any deck where you're playing around with poison, this is a great draw card. Now, the last new card we've got here is Bellibolt. It is actually the only non-EX Bellibolt we've seen. Obviously, we've got Bellibolt EX I showed you the other day, but in terms of non-EX Bellibolt, this is the only one we've actually seen. Is it any good? It's alright. Single energy, flip a coin if heads paralysis. I don't like this on a stage 1. Flip a coin if heads paralysis, I'm fine on a basic Pokemon, but I'm really not a huge fan of this attack on a stage 1. It's not making me happy. But for free energy, 10 damage, you may discard up to 2 basic lightning, and it does 80 more for each energy discarded in this way. So it's potential 170 on a stage 1. And here's my problem. You're going to need Flaffy to recharge the energy, pun intended, and that's going to be potentially a little bit awkward. But mostly, again, lovely Okacheke artwork, have to mention that. But mostly my issue here is kind of simple. It's just not enough damage. 170 is not enough damage. And it really is as simple as that. I want to do more damage. I'm not doing enough damage. There we go. I'm not KOing 2-prize Pokemon. And if I'm trading a 1-prizer for a 1-prizer, fine. But I don't want a Stage 1 that takes 3 energy and discards 2 of them to do it. Nah. Now, in terms of the other cards here, they are just reprints from Snow Hazard and Clayburst. So, we've got an alternate art Arctobax, but I do have to mention we've got T0 artwork here, which is absolutely stunning. I'm falling in love with that artist a lot lately. We got ourselves an alternate art Pineco. No translations needed for either of these for pretty obvious reasons. We've got ourselves an alternate art Sinistea, and it's a Kuramitsu. And Kuramitsu is fast becoming a top 3 or 4 artist for me in the Pokemon TCG. I love Kuramitsu's style. I absolutely adore this Sinistea. Dunking a Pokeball biscuit into itself. I mean, as an Englishman, this makes me very, very happy. If anyone's wondering, it's single energy, 10 damage, flip a coin, if heads, paralysis. I can translate these kind of ones on the fly because it is actually very straightforward. We've then got a Barboach, which, again, is just a reprint of the one from the set. This one is not quite so easy. It's flip a coin, if heads, during your opponent's next turn. I think this Pokemon takes no damage from attacks. I think that's what it is. I'm just going to very quickly go and double check with Google Translate. But I don't know. I use my rudimentary Japanese here. It seems to be working. Yeah, no, it is. It's flip a coin. If heads, during your opponent's next turn, this Pokemon takes no damage from attacks. Yay! You guys have absolutely no idea how utterly delighted I am that I can now fumble my way through Japanese translations of Pokemon cards. I am so over the top proud of myself. Probably way more than I should be. And I'm not even embarrassed. For now, ladies and gentlemen, I want to know what you think about all of these cards. I want to know how excited you are. I want to know anything you want to tell me. So let me know in the comment section. Go nuts! Be nice! And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at TheWasi. That's where we talk about Pokemon card games, all kinds of fun things. And please do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCGradio, where you can support the channel, get some bonus podcasts, join a Discord, chat about various things, and get shoutouts on the channel like the lovely Arcadia Free, who is one of our newer patrons and is a very lovely person. So, yeah, shout out to them for being a very lovely person. But by far the most important thing as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.